Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today, we're going to talk about Bitcoin, Battle for the Ages. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Remember, we also have the sale on the premium list. You can find a link to that in the description below as well. Let's go ahead and jump in. So why is this a battle for the ages? Well, we will certainly remember this battle no matter what happens, right? We will certainly remember this battle, okay? And the reason being is because if Bitcoin is able to conquer the 20-week SMA and come back down and hold it as support, then it's clear skies, right? It's clear skies. And at that point, you might as well, I would say at that point, you might as well get on your metaphorical laser eyes. I'm not going to put this on my profile picture. But you might as well go ahead and put on your metaphorical laser eyes, because at that point, I see it being relatively difficult for Bitcoin to not go to six figures in the event that it can get above the 20-week and then come back down, hold it as support for a little bit, maybe a few weeks. The longer the better, ideally. The longer we can hold it as support, it generally is the better it is, because I think it just provides more confidence to the market. Over here, we held it as support for 6 weeks, and every single week was one hell of a test, right? It was just like every single week, it was like a nail biter. It's like, are we going to hold it, or are we going to kick the bull market down the road? And we held it, and it was hard. And those 6 weeks were hard because everyone was saying, everyone remembers the Gap boys that said we had to go fill the $9,600 gap on the CME daily, right? Everyone remembers the Gap boys, and they kept calling for lower prices. And we said, it doesn't have to, right? It doesn't have to. And here we are. And then here we are again. Now we're not coming down to the 20-week right now. We're moving up to the 20-week, okay? So the 21-week EMA, which we're already above, is 39,595. And ideally, we would close above the 21-week EMA at the very least, okay? We don't have to close above the 20-week SMA on this candle. We have time. I think August, as I said in a live stream recently, I think August will define the next few months, okay? Because I feel like, saying I feel like is a good way it's probably not the best way to say it, but to me, it seems like we're either going to get rejected or we're not. We're not just going to sit here right below the 20-week SMA and hover there, okay? If you go back and look, we typically, if we go up to it, we either get rejected immediately and start going back down, or we just break through it. And then if we break through it, things can get crazy, but then you still have to reckon with the fact that, well, at some point we have to go down and hold it at support, and then we might not hold it as support. So we're either going to break it or we're not. You go back over here, we came up to the 20-week, and again, we got rejected by it. August is an important month. I think this is an important month right now. With the way September normally is, September is usually fairly bearish for crypto in general, if history is any indication. So, one possible path would be Bitcoin, so one possible path for, say, like a second leg of the bull market would be Bitcoin gets above the 20-week in August, and then maybe comes back down to hold it as support in September. And then that would still be in line with what we've seen happen. That's what happened last year. We didn't go above it in August, but we were above it in August. We were above the 20-week in August, and then in September we came down and tested it as support. So that would, I would envision that being a potential path in the event of a second leg. Now, remember, I know there's a lot of people out there that think 64K is the top, right? A lot of people think 64K is the top for the market cycle. I don't think it's the top. I think that it could be a local top for, a while, right? We said expect a summer lull. It could be a local top for a while. And even if we get above the 20-week now, it's not, it's probably going to take, quite a while to put in a new all-time high, because, we'd still have to get through 45K. We have to get through 50K, 60K. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be covering from those positions that maybe got into some bad trades back when it was up there earlier in the year. So what I would say is that we have a bit of a journey ahead of us, but we're going to be here every step of the way. So the battle for the ages approaches. The 20-week SMA right now is at around 43.7K. Okay, so it's about $2,500 higher than the current prices. So from the current price, Bitcoin would need to move up by approximately 6%, 5 to 6%, in order for us to get back to the 20-week SMA. And remember, that is where the real battle takes place. That is where the bulls will want to push through. The bears will likely come to try to defend it. Okay, so the people that assume that this is the market cycle peak over here and are calling for, like, you know, $7,000 Bitcoin or $10,000 Bitcoin or something crazy like that, these are the people that are probably gonna say, hey guys, you know, we're gonna get rejected here and we're gonna go down hard, right? We're gonna go down hard. My contention, my if you want to know where I stand on it, my thinking is that in light of lengthening cycle theory, we could get above it now, hold it as support, and then continue the bull run, right? And maybe it extends until the summer of next year. I mean, that's, you know, if you look back at last year, we had a relatively strong move out of March. We consolidated for May, June, and July, so we basically did nothing. Back then, I think we also called it a summer lull. It was just a different type of a lull, because instead of the prices being at prices above where they had been, now they were at prices below where they had been. But it was still a lull in the market, right? There just wasn't a whole lot going on. The volatility was relatively low. We were just playing in the sandbox between like 30 to 42K. Nothing really crazy had changed. Over here, it was very similar. I mean, we were just playing in the sandbox between $8,600 and $10,000. And nothing really was changing for 3 months straight. And then in August, we had to move up. And then in September, we came back down to test it as support. And then we held it as support. And then we started the run again in October, November, December, January, February, March. And then we ultimately had a peak in April. Okay, so where do I stand? My thinking has not changed, right? I mean, I told you guys the same thing I told you over here. I said we need a 3 to 6 month lull in the market, and then I think we get back on track, right? 3 to 6 months. You give us 3 to 6 months, I think Bitcoin can get back on track here. Because at the time, back then, you know, I said, I think we're ahead of schedule. And the one thing I'm looking forward to about a potential second leg is that I don't have to whine about it being ahead of schedule anymore, because now we're not ahead of schedule, right? We're behind the last cycle. If we were on par with the last cycle, we would be looking at we would already be looking at an $80,000 Bitcoin. But we're not looking at an $80,000 Bitcoin. Let me show you what I mean. So again, if you take a bar pattern from here to here and measure it from the cycle bottom, right? If you measure it from the cycle bottom, you can see that we were ahead of schedule, but now we're not, right? We're well below it. And this time last cycle actually corresponded to a dump. I'm sorry. So it was 80. It would have been 80 to 90K, but this time last cycle corresponded to a dump on this week, back to around 54, 55K. So even with that dump, we're still behind where the other cycle was. But note that just in, you know, another month or so, that cycle's ROI, when you normalize it for the cycle bottom, would already be at 100K by the beginning of September, right? It'd be at 100K by the beginning of September, if you were to assume we were going to keep pace. But again, the implication is that we're not going to keep pace. That's what I tried explaining over here. We need a summer lull in the market. Let's get below the last cycle, and then we can be a little bit, you know, we can be more on board with what's going on. So with that in mind, what I said back then, it still holds today. Okay, when we were up here, I said we need 3 to 6 months, 3 to 6. The reason I said 3 to 6, there's a couple of reasons. I didn't just pull it out of a hat. One reason is because when you look at prior summers, there can often be a lull in the market in the summer. I mean, look at last summer. We just didn't do anything. It just goes sideways. This summer, it was more or less just sideways. We've been playing in the sandbox all damn summer. Nothing has changed. You go back to prior years, you know, you go back to say like 2017, there was a pretty substantial lull here. I mean, this was in May, and then in June we came back down, and then we didn't put in new all-time highs again until late July or early August. So Bitcoin has a history of just kind of not doing a whole lot in the summer, right? Like it becomes boring, and no one wants to, you know, you just see sort of there's a waning interest in Bitcoin because it's just the price isn't doing anything. Maybe people are out on vacation and they're not looking at charts. I don't know what it is. But every summer, or maybe I should say most summers, it seems like we don't really do much of anything, okay? And now we're coming out of the summer again. Now we're in early August, and hey, we have our boss. The boss is the 20 week. And so when you think about 3 to 6 months, let's go see how long it's been. So this was the drop. This was the drop below the 20 weeks. That's where we measure it from. It's been 12 weeks, right? It's been 3 months. Okay, so my thinking is that in light of, say, lengthening cycles, I would say, hey guys, either we break above it here, which is a decent possibility, right? There's a decent possibility that happens, and we hold it as support, and let's continue the games, right? Let's send it back up. Or we get rejected, and then maybe we try it again in 3 months, and then we pass it. But I don't think we're going to go down to like 5K or 7K or 10K or anything like that, even if we get rejected. I mean, maybe we get rejected. I would say that the bearish case for lengthening cycles would be we get rejected, we come down, maybe we even go lower, and then we come back up, and then we're able to to get above it later this year. So I would say either now or in a few months. Doesn't really matter to me. Obviously, we have our preferences. Some people just want to get the game on now. Some people want to accumulate longer. Doesn't really matter what your preferences are. Bitcoin's going to do whatever the hell it wants to do anyways. So just know that, in my opinion, the market cycle peak for Bitcoin will more than likely be between 1 to 200K, but that doesn't necessarily have to happen this year. Okay, just keep that in mind. It does not have to happen this year. Certainly, if we get above the 20-week and hold it as support, then we'll have to start looking at some of these other areas and how long is it going to take us to get past 50K, how long will it take us to get past 60K, and so on and so forth. I mean, it's going to take a lot of money to get past some of these milestones. It's going to take a lot of money, a lot of new money coming into the space. I mean, that's where, to some degree, that's where institutions come in, okay? So it's going to take a lot of money, and even to get to 100K, it's going to take a ton of money to get there. A lot of new money coming into the space. So let's just keep it on the 20-week. We are approaching a huge battle. And this battle will define the rest of the year. Okay, this battle, in my opinion, will define the rest of the year. If we get above it and then test it as support, then we're looking good. If we get rejected by it, then we are just going to be playing in the sandbox for a few more months, and then hopefully we can try it again later. And if we do try it again later, it'll be easier to pass it, because if we imagine a more bearish case is if we get rejected off of it and come back down like this, then the 20 weeks going to continue coming down. So that assuming let's assume we go down and then we come back up and test it later on. At that point, the 20 week could be a lot lower than it is today, and therefore the bulls might even have a better chance. Okay, so this will be the bulls' first chance to prove it. And if the bulls are not strong enough, if the bears are stronger than the bulls, then the bulls will have a second chance later on, and it'll be easier for them to move past it then if they're unable to do it today. So that'll wrap it up for the video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and give the video a thumbs up. Also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Remember, we do have the sale on the premium list if you want to know how I'm navigating these markets. Thank you guys for tuning in. Subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, click the bell icon to turn on notifications, and I will see you next time. Bye.